Okay, today we're going to be having a look at the overall pant pattern. This is the pattern that you'll be creating in pattern making and then cutting and sewing for construction in the first couple of weeks of this semester. First up, you can see we have 10 pattern pieces overall. I've labelled them 1 of 10 all the way down to 10 of 10. You can see of the two big pieces, we've got our front and our back. We've got our front pocket bag and our front pocket facing. Down here we have the fly facing, the fly extension. This little guy is our pant pocket, our patch pocket for the back of the pant. And then up the top we have our centre back, our back waistband, our front left waistband and our front right waistband. When you're looking at the overall of patterns, one of the things that jumps out at you is the placing of the red pen. So we have red pen to indicate block fusing on our waistband pieces. We have block fusing on our facing, on our fly. We also have piece fusing here on the front pant, and we've used a red pen to circle the drill holes here. That's just to make sure that our patterns are clear and that these details won't get missed by the cutter. So now looking at, again, all of the pattern pieces, you'll notice that most of the seam allowances you can see are the standard 12 millimeters. On our waistline here and the waist on the waistband, it's 12 mils. On our back crotch, it's 12 mils. Front crotch is 12, our inside and outside legs are both 12 mils. You have 12 mils on the waistline of the pockets and 12 mils around the pocket bag. The only place we have 6 mil seam allowance is the top edge here of our waistbands and this opening for the pocket bag here. Our hems, we also have 6 mil to bag out the bottom of our fly extension. Now for the hems, we have 2 centimeters here on the top of the pocket, the patch pocket, and 3 centimeters on the hem of the legs. Okay, so looking in more detail at our front pant, with this angle here, this angle for our front pocket opening will be stitched to our pocket facing like this, and then it will be turned around, bagged out, and you will stitch the pocket bag to the back. So once you've constructed that, you can see that you have your complete waistband and your complete side seam in place. So that needs to be done before you're able to sew the side or the back of the pants together. The opening for the pocket bag allows us to get our hands in. So don't forget when you're completing your pattern pieces and putting your seam allowance on to make sure that you've cut this opening from the front of your pant. I've included the 1 pair strip fuse in red down here and the 1 pair strip fuse. The fusing on these points of the front of the pants is just to hold that for the stitching, so to make sure your center front is secure when you're attaching your zipper and your fly, and to make sure that this line, which as you can see is slightly on the bias, so that that opening doesn't stretch when the hand goes in and out of the pocket. When you're tracing your pocket, you need to make sure that you've copied the correct grain line, so you're transferring exactly the same grain line onto the pocket facing and onto the pocket bag. I've marked this point with a notch up here, and these seam allowance for the pocket bag is my new hip notch down here on the side of the pant. I've also included a single notch over here on this pocket because this is a very long and curving seam that will help you match it and prevent one of these seams from stretching when you're sewing it. Here we have our fly facing and our fly extension. These two little pieces, as I said before, they both have block fusing. It is very important that this one is labelled cut oneself right side up. So when you're cutting it, you can't cut it this way up. With the pants, when you're stitching your fly facing, you stitch it to the right side to right side here, and then you're turning it and top stitching it to the inside. So you can't, with the block fusing on one side, you need to make sure that you're cutting the right side up of this fly facing. With the fly extension, that is stitched to the left side. So the fly extension is sewn to the left side of the pants, down this seam here, which is why our left side waistband has an extension at the centre front, so that it fits at the extension of the fly. Moving on to the back pocket. For the back pant, we have 3 drill holes. We've got our dart, remembering that we move the dart drill hole 15 millimeters from the end of the dart. Not only do we move the dart drill hole 15 millimeters, we leave the original position of the dart arms, the stitching line down there. When you move the drill hole, do not also shorten the length of the dart. Here we have our pocket placement drill holes. So you will create a patch pocket with 12 mil seam allowance around here, and then 2 centimeter hem on the top. You will find your pocket placement drill holes by closing the dart and then placing it on top. I'm not sure if you can see this, but the position of the drill holes is 5 mils in from the corners of the finished pocket on both sides. Okay, the last pattern pieces we're going to look at are the waistband. We have the back, the left front and the right front waistband. The back was created on the fold so that I know my back pattern piece is symmetrical. So folding it up, my centre back will sit on the centre back seam of the pant, and coming across this dart position here will indicate where that dart is, that remaining dart. So from here, from the other side of the dart, my waistband comes to the side seam. On the front, this is the left front, as I have here. I've pinned my pocket in place so that we can see the correct width of the side seam and the waist. So placing my pattern piece on the side, it comes to the centre front, and then it has that 4.2 millimeters to allow the extension of the fly extension here. For the right side, it will finish at centre front with no extension. From the side seam across to centre front. Now you'll notice I've got 2 grain lines on my waistband pattern pieces. This is to enable the cutter or the designer to decide whether they're using the stronger or the stretchier angle of the fabric. It might also depend on the pattern of the fabric. For example, with my pants here, they've used the straight grain for the pants and then the cross grain for the waistband, partly because that's the stronger direction of the fabric to hold the pant in. It's also a design feature to put that straight line across on the waistband. We've created a straight waistband for the skirt in the first session, and this is our first shaped waistband. Now we use a shaped waistband on a garment when we want that waistband to have a better fit around the waist and the hips.